Hello everyone. Again, we are going to be looking at another topic, which is fraction. We have some topic here. We have some other subtopics under this topic. So we are going to be picking them one after the other. So this is the first slide on the fraction, and we're going to be studying this slide and explain together. So when you're talking about fraction, there is a number valued that define a part of a whole or object or a thing. So it can be an object, it can be a thing, and fractions are divided into two parts. We have the numerator, we have the denominator. The numerator is the top number, and we call the denominator what? The bottom number. So we have an example. If we look at this circle, this is a whole circle, and it's also this is whole circle, this is one. By the time you divide it into two, we have 1/2. So this is what? This is the numerator, this is the denominator. By the time you divide this into four, we have this shaded. So we have this to be what? 1/4. So this shaded, so since we have one shaded out of it, so we have it to be 1/4. If you look at this one that we have here, this is divided into four and we have three shaded. So we have 3/4. The 3 here is the numerator, while 4 is the denominator. Now we have activities here based on what we've explained earlier rather. Fraction is a number value which define part of a whole of an object of thing. I think that is right, so that should be true. Let's check. There. Now we can call a numerator what as well? A top number. So we've made mention of that. And denominator can also be called what? You can refer to it as what? Bottom number. So let's check. So we are right now. With that, we want to look at type of fractions. We have three type of fraction that we're going to be looking basically here, considering in this slide. We have proper fraction, we have improper fraction, and we have mixed fraction. So now when you're talking about, want to look at what? The proper fraction. So proper fraction is what? The proper fraction in this type of fraction, the numerator, which is the top number, is what? Is bigger than, is smaller than the uh, denominator. Then for improper fraction, the numerator is greater than the denominator. And we can also call this type of fraction a frugal fraction. Then we're talking about mixed fraction. It has a whole natural number and it has a proper fraction. Now we have an example here. If you look at this is 5/6. This one is smaller than this, so this is proper fraction. 8/6. 8 is bigger than 6, so this is improper fraction. This is a mixture of what? A natural number and a proper fraction here. So we have one whole number, 2/6. So that's an example of what? A mixed fraction. So this goes, let's try this, let's look at this, let's look at this type of fraction. What type of fraction is this? If you look at this circle is divided into 6 and 5 of it is shaded. So we can refer to this as what? As proper fraction, because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Now let's go to the next one. Let's look at this. This is 8/6. 8/6. We combine these two circles together. So if you look at it, 8 of it is actually this 6 is shaded here, and if you look at this one as well, it have two shaded here. So this type of fraction, 8/6, 8 is bigger and 6 is smaller. So that implies that the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And which type of fraction is this? It is what? Improper fraction. Now let's go to the next one. Uh, what type of fraction is this? It entails what? Both, it entails a natural number and a proper fraction. So if you look at this, this is 1, which is a natural number, and this is what? A proper fraction. Numerator is smaller than the denominator. So what type of fraction is this? This is what? A mixed fraction. So now let's go to the next one we have here. We have an example here. Also a simple thing we want to look at. 1/5 of 35. What is 1/5 of 35? That implies that we are actually multiplying 1 times 35, then we divide by 5. So this one should be what? 35, because 1 times 35 will give us what? It will give us 5. Now, if you now said, okay, we have 35 over 5, 35 divided by 5 is what? That should give us what? 7. So let's look at another example here. That is 3 over 5. This is an example of what? Proper fraction. Why is it proper fraction? The numerator is smaller than what? Than the denominator. So we have 3 multiplied by 35. 3 multiplied by 35 will give us what? 105. So when you have 105, 105 is divided by 7. When you divide 1 over by 7, that should give us what? 21. So let's check. I think we are good. So we have our answer, right? Now we have what we call mixed number. As I've told us earlier, that mixed number, it entails what? A whole number. Is what this one is telling us a lie. This is a whole number. This entails a whole number, and we have a proper fraction. If you look at this uh, shape here is divided into what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 of it is shaded. So we can actually say that this is what? 2 over 5. So we can call this a mixed fraction, and we call it as one whole number 2 over 5. Now, if we have that, let's look at some example of mixed fraction. This one is what? 5 whole number 1 over 4. 5 whole number 1 over 4. The next one here is what? 2 whole number 2 over 3. The next one is what? 9 whole number 4 over 5. So, and we can actually split them in this way. This one is just to denote that this is whole number and this is what? A proper fraction. Now, we have two ways to this. We can, you know, change mixed fraction to improper fraction into weights. So for these two ways, we're going to be picking at the second method, because if you look at the second method, it's a bit actually more simpler. And if you look at it, just divide 5 by 13. So how many times can 5 goes in what? In 13? That is 2, which it will now remain what? It remain 3. So with that, we can have it to be what? 2 number 3 over 5. Now let's look at the first method as well before we go. If you look at it, this we can split this into 3. 5 plus 5 will give us what? 10. 10 plus 3 is what? 13. So we have our 13 here. So 5 divided by 5, since we have the denominator to be what? 5. If you divide this one by 5, it gives 1. Divide this one by 5, it gives 1. Then we have 3 over 5. This is not possible because this one is smaller and this one is greater. So by the time you add this plus this, add this together, this 1 plus 1 is 2. So it gives us 2 number 3 over 5. So it actually gives us the same answer. Now, what happens when we are trying to change mixed fraction to improper fraction? Mixed fraction is a fraction that contains a whole number and a proper fraction, remember. So we have two ways as well to it. You can say, this is 2. 1 plus 1 will give us what? 2. And we still have our proper fraction. Since we are dividing by 7, so we have 7 divided by 7. 7 divided by 7 will be what? Will give us 1. How many times can 7 go in 7? Is 1. How many times can 7 go in 7? Is 1. So this is what? This is what? This is 3 over 7. So now let's add up. 7 plus 7 is what? 14. 14 plus 3, that is what? 17. And since we have a common denominator, we just pick one of it, so which is 7. Another way around this is this. Multiply this denominator with the whole number, then you add it up with the numerator. So 2 times 7, that's 14. 14 plus 3 will give us 17 over 7. So we have the same answer to them. Now let's look at an example here. We can start to do this one on our own and check if we are right. That is 1 over 5 of 20. That is, you are multiplying 1 times 5, right? Multiply 1 times 5, then you divide it by 20. For this one, we want to convert to mixed fraction. Now, this one is telling us that how many times can 4 go in 13 and what is the remainder. And for this last one, we can have it to be 3 over 6 of 18, which is what? 3 times 18 divided by 6. So now if we do the first one, 1 over 5 times 20. So 20 divided by 5 will give us, I think should give us 4. 4 can go in 13 how many times? We have 3 times, that is 12, remainder 1. So we have 3 whole number 1 over 4. Now for this one, 3 times 18 divided by 6. By the time you multiply 3 times 18 and you divide it by 6, our answer is going to give us 9. So we have 9 as our answer. So I think we are right. So let's go to the next one. We have another example here. We have to look at this. What type of example is this? This is 2 over 5. 2 over 5. That is what? A proper fraction. Why? The numerator is smaller than the denominator. So this should be a proper fraction. Okay. Now 8 over 6. What type of example is this? The numerator is bigger than the denominator. So this should be what? An improper fraction. An example of an improper fraction. And if you look at it, this is a whole number and a proper fraction. So it's an example of what? A mixed fraction. And this takes us to the end of this topic. And we're going to be looking at the next subtopic under fraction. We want you to subscribe to our channel, which is www.edubbey.com for the full details of this slide. It's an interactive content and you're going to like it. So subscribe to our channels to get the full details. Thanks for listening.